Okay, so I want to go through the process to solve that last problem on the worksheet, the one where we're trying to go from Avogadro's number of seconds to how many years that is. Now, again, we're using this thing called dimensional analysis. I've just written it out in a slightly different way this time instead of using parentheses and fractions. I'm not exactly sure what they call this, might be called the ladder method. But anyway, what we first got to do is figure out all the things we need to get from Avogadro's numbers of seconds all the way to years. Well, the things that we need are 1 minute equals 60 seconds. So these are the equivalent statements. 1 hour equals 60 minutes, 1 day equals 24 hours, and 1 year equals 365 days. It's close enough. I know it's 365 and a quarter. Now, how do we set this up and how do we write it? Well, to go from seconds to years, first we got to go from seconds to minutes. We don't have a direct way. So how do we do that? Whatever you're converting to from the equivalent statement goes on top. So 1 minute is on top, 60 seconds is on the bottom. Now, seconds will cancel seconds when we do that. So what we're trying to do is use the units. Once we get done, if only unit we have left is years, then we'll have this right. So then 1 hour equals 60 minutes. Again, we need to get rid of minutes. So let's put hour on top, 60 minutes on the bottom. All right. Now we got to go from hours to days. So we're going 2 days, it goes on top. So 1 day on top, 24 hours in the bottom. And then finally we need to go from days to years. And so for every 1 year, there are 365 days. All right, now that's going to get us to our answer over here in years. So I wrote it a little too far over, but it's going to get us to years. Okay, so how do we solve this? Well, first let's make sure the units cancel. Minutes are over minutes, hours are over hours, days are over days. Remember, it's no different than algebra or any other math. If you have like 2 over 2, it reduces to 1. Here, if we had like x over x, it would reduce to 1. Just like here, we're using day over day, reduces to 1, hour over hour, reduces to 1, etc. So now, how do we do this on our calculator? Well, basically what you're doing is you take your starting value, you multiply it by everything on top. Well, it's all 1, so we just take our starting value and we divide it by everything on the bottom. So let's see. I'm going to use exponent entry. Hooray! 6.02 second EE 23. Now, there's different ways to do it. One way is to set up, this big thing with parentheses, and inside the parentheses you do 60 times 60 times 24 times 365. Because of PEMDAS, you don't have to do that. You can do them each sequentially, and that's a lot easier on your calculator. So I'm going to divide by 60 to convert to minutes. I'm going to divide that by 60 to convert to hours. Then I'm going to divide by 24 to convert that to days. And then I'm going to divide by 365 to convert that to years. Since we only have, we're not going to do sig figs in non-honors chem, but here in honors chem, this started with 3 sig figs. These are all considered exact values, so we end up with 3 sig figs. So our answer would be 1.91 times 10 to the 16 years. All right, that would be our final answer. I would also accept 1.91 E16, since that means exactly the same thing. It's just written in a slightly different format.